Okay, let me give you an example about content. Before OTT, our choice of content was limited and we liked other content too. So in the past 5 years, we have been exposed to high quality content on the web. The exhilaration of watching your favorite series, like binge watching. I'm a binge watcher. I mean, I've watched all the Real Housewives back to back. It's unparalleled, right? So Big Talk is the web series of conversation starters. So far, we have discussed small talk. It's a socially acceptable tool. Now we enter the big leagues, the big talk. Asking the same old basic questions about conversations, they're predictable. Guess what? The answers will also be predictable and often very monosyllabic. Yes, no, maybe. Who wants to talk like that? Big talk starters give you more mileage. With Big Talk, we challenge the social norm of either not speaking much or just limiting to small talk. So let's assume you have, mastered the element of small talk. You know how to get the conversation started. There's a very big chance that it has become your comfort zone. Now listen, I'm going to pull you out of that comfort zone because Big Talk gives you jolts of energy, bursts of pleasure and excitement. A great conversation has many sparks inbuilt. Sparks are marked by the release of dopamine. That's where we feel pleasure. Dopamine aids memory and information processing. When you produce dopamine in your conversation, what you're doing essentially is giving the partner more reasons to enjoy it and increasing memorability at the same time. I'll give you an example in my own career. The first time that I met Sunil Gavaskar, this is Sunil Gavaskar. There's more than 34 test centuries between us. I mean, it's a lot. I'm here, he's there. How do I start a conversation? Yes, we can do the small talk. Hi, Sunny Ji. How are you? Really looking forward to this show. He himself went into the big talk. You know what? I've held your husband when he was this little. He was my father-in-law's teammate for many years. They won a World Cup together. They stood in that Lord's balcony together. 2019 Cricket World Cup, Sunny Ji and I stood under that Lord's balcony on the anniversary of India's World Cup win in '83 and FaceTime my father-in-law. That small talk became Big Talk. That produced dopamine for both of us. That is a conversation I will never forget. That has bonded us for life. So imagine that you get to meet someone iconic, someone really important. It's your CEO or the founder of the company and you're at a party and you happen to be seated like right next to them at the dinner table. You're like, oh my God, what am I going to say? How am I going to start this conversation? What should you ask about? Should you be talking about work in this situation? Then if you ask such sort of questions, the chances will be really short because they don't want to talk about work. You want to be remembered. Remember, after all, many people will ask them the same questions all the time. How do you make it different? What you do is the following. Big talk. You ask about the suit that they're wearing. Wow, which brand is it? My God, look at those shoes. I've never seen that before. How unique. You can discuss about the food that you're having, whether you like this cuisine or not. So one of my friends, Deepak, who's been in banking for a number of years and meets very high-profile clients and, diverse sort of clientele, he very often discusses watches because he has a keen eye and he talks about watches. He's made so many friends getting into conversations just regarding those sartorial style. Watches, technology, investments, cryptocurrency. These are his conversation sparkers and they're memorable too. He has lately started a gents club that is made of these acquaintances after exhilarating conversations with interesting people. Imagine that, a group of people that all like the same thing with Big Talk. So what's the point in interacting on autopilot? What's the point in interacting with a prospective client that they won't even remember you after the meeting? All of us want to make sure that we make the most of these situations and we want to move up in life, in our careers. So these unique conversations laden with excitement and dopamine are just the thing that you need. It's just an example. Conversational sparkers can come from technology, travel, food, animals, anything that is big. Coming up with new ideas, not the obvious ones, is called an oddball effect, which has a dopamine effect on our minds. They ignite our minds when we introduce topics we've never discussed and stimulate in-depth discussions. So it requires asking fresh questions. If we move away from the typical social scripts, we are more likely to enjoy our interactions and it becomes memorable too. What do you do and how are you are rated as the most boring questions. But still, why do we keep using them? We stick to these social scripts out of habit. It's the old conversations because we're in our comfort zone, and nothing spark-worthy happens when we're in our comfort zone.